Guys, here we are. Welcome back. We're back home. We're back in the famous studio, aka the living room. Good trip to the East Coast, right? Got on the plane, 5-hour trek. It was a great plane ride there, and I'll tell you why. Champions League was on, and it was calculated. I got on JetBlue. JetBlue, fantastic, by the way. Live TV, direct TV. Got to see Lazio against Bruges. Got to see Weston and Juventus against Serge and Barca. And then my plane landed and I was in Florida ready to go, okay? The game. We're not going to take any time and waste any time on this thing, right? I wanted to do a post-match recap like I would normally do. For what? El Salvador, Minnow, CONCACAF, shocking. I mean, guys, I don't want to exaggerate this, but we could put together a better team and the Sunday leagues here in Southern California. Honestly, okay, there's guys that can't trap the ball. There's guys that can't pass the ball. There's guys where the ball was ricocheting off their shins. It was the easiest thing on planet Earth for guys to win duels, Julian to win his matchup, Sam Vines to win his matchup. They didn't have to defend. I mean, Jackson Yule looked like Andrea Pirlo because he had all the time and space in the world. So for context, which we always want to use, there was no opponent on the field. They were training dummies. It was a good sparring session against amateurs. That's what it looked like to me, okay? I mean, there were Salvadorian fans there yelling players' names, telling players off. Great for them because I didn't know these guys are household names. Apparently they are. My current girlfriend, Salvadorian, all right? I had goes at the parents and the family. I'm like, what the hell is this? I know El Salvador is not, a world power, but they'd always be competitive. This was embarrassing. 5-0 in 20-something minutes. What are we doing? All right? Yes, we're going to get to the Q&A. I think there's 25 questions that people wrote down for me on Twitter. I appreciate all of them. We'll get to them without further ado. All right? Question number 1, and I don't know if they're from anybody's actual anonymous names, but we're going to read them off anyway. At Sportsman2325. Do you think Cannon can step in at left back? And if so, why do you think Greg hasn't tried Cannon at left back and Dest at right back yet? Well, can Cannon do it? Probably. He's going to be more of a stay-at-home guy. I don't think he's be as comfortable as Dest would on the left. They've only had one camp together to experiment, and obviously the first attempt was Serginho at left back and Cannon at right back in that Panama game. So we'll see, right? Time is always a difficult thing when you get the national team call-ups. Planning is always difficult. These COVID times have made it worse. So 2021 should change that. There'll be a lot more opportunities, especially, in a Gold Cup type situation where you're together for several weeks, if not longer. But it's a matter of time. Do I think it's the step that needs to take place as of today, right now? Yes, that's what I would do, or I would keep Serge at the left and Cannon at the right. Good question. Next one is JP415. USA playing a team that's been corrupt and there's no future in their soccer program. Why doesn't the US play against a team that's at their level? Well, I think we all want to see the U.S. tested and our current player pool play against a higher level opponent. Salvador was not it. Panama was not it. Wales put up a little resistance and bunkered down and doing what they do best. But it's difficult, okay? These Nations League thing has thrown international friendlies into a different dimension, meaning there's not that many open dates. I'm sure the U.S. would like to play a better opponent, a European opponent, a South American opponent. Well, South America's off the table now. They have World Cup qualifying. We're not playing South Americans. The Europeans have their Nations League. We had a European opponent, but it's difficult to schedule a top one. The Asian opponents, I guess, that's what Mexico did. They played a couple Asian opponents in Korea and Japan last FIFA window. I don't know if they're going to be available. I don't know if the Africans are available. We need games. This 2020 was a waste for not just the U.S., but for mostly anybody. Planning has to be better. Absolutely. Mexico got good games. They went and they played the Netherlands in the October window, right? They had an international top opponent they could measure themselves against. So I agree with you. I don't know about everything else you said about corruption and all that. I'm not going to comment because I don't know. But El Salvador, high school. Let's see. Next one is Brendan Doyle. You've said we don't have a left back in the pool that's at the level to help us graduate yet. What does Kobe and Gloucester have to elevate to that level? So what do they have to do to elevate to that level? So by Kobe, it's Kobe Hernandez Foster. By Gloucester, it's Chris Gloucester. Kobe currently playing U19 football in Germany at Wolfsburg. Gloucester playing second team football at PSV. Kobe is somebody that we have high hopes for, okay? I know him on a personal basis. Absolute quality. He's the type of profile that we need to advance us to the next level, like you're suggesting. Just technically competent, clean on the ball, soccer IQ, can get up and down, has a final ball. Just a complete package in that sense, okay? Brains and technique, things that we value highly and need to value highly at the international level. Chris Gloucester is a great kid. I know him on a personal level as well. I just don't know if he's going to ever get to that level, right? He's struggling to get minutes on PSV second team. Not an easy task, okay? We'll see what his next steps are, if he could recover and get some more minutes and graduate within his own club situation. Kobe's a guy that isn't ready. Honestly, he needs to get to our U20s, dominate there, take us to the U20 World Cup, dominate at the U20 World Cup. Hopefully, in 2 years' time at Qatar, he's playing first-team football and can be the solution that we need, because that is our biggest deficiency at the moment at left back. So hopefully both those guys continue to progress. They're not the solution as of today either. Thanks for the question, Brendan. Next one is D. Jonesy Boy. J. Jonesy Boy. Do you agree that U.S. used to play down to the level of teams like El Salvador, and this is an improvement? Also, thoughts on Sam Vines at left back. So, yes, traditionally, when we would play shit opponents, we would be shit, right? Hence our struggles, hence not qualifying to last 2018 Russia World Cup, hence always fighting, tooth and nail to beat some of these weaker opponents in CONCACAF, okay? I think we've graduated to the point where we are going to dominate this region. Along with Mexico, we should have no issues. We're not going to be waiting to the last game or second to last game or not qualifying. That's not happening anymore. Okay, we've taken giant strides in terms of our youth development, whole different topic, in terms of the investment, in terms of the coaching education, the competitiveness domestically. We're growing, and our best players are now playing their trade every single day in Europe. So I don't think we'll have those struggles again, but yes, we used to play down to our opponents. Not anymore. 6 goals on Panama, 6 goals on El Salvador, and thrashings, right? The other team didn't have a chance. So Sam Vines at left back, I think he's still green. And obviously talking about the international level. Sam Vines has grown tremendously, somebody that I've known throughout his youth career in Colorado as well. But he is green. He will get absolutely devastated at the international level. He is not ready to be our solution today either. Hopefully continues to progress. Maybe takes his trade overseas and progresses there as well. And hopefully he can be a guy that competes at the left back position. But no, he's not the solution. Do I think he's better than Anthony Robinson? 1,000,000% he's better than Anthony Robinson to play for our USMNT, because he fits a style of play better. He fits what Greg and his staff are trying to do a lot better than Anthony Robinson. But he is definitely not the solution long term. Jason, Drip God Jason, right? Nice name, Drip God. Which current MLS players do you see having a future with the USMNT and actually contributing for 2022 and 2026? Man, if I only had a crystal ball and can tell you which guy's playing here domestically. Listen, in this camp, Leggett was the best player in that match, okay? Hands down, I think he looked dominant, he looked comfortable, he looked confident, he looked like he was enjoying his football. He looked like a different Sebi than what we see at the Galaxy week in and week out. Why? Surrounded better, I don't know, tactical information, someone that's been part of Greg's camps and understands his role. At the Galaxy, limited tactics, if any at all. So he looked the part. He was playing against El Salvador. He looked dominant. He looked very clean. He was our best player. Going to 2022 and 2026, I told you I don't think Sebi is the guy. I hope Brendan Aronson progresses. Brendan Aronson looked very green in this game. If you just want to judge on this game alone, erratic, turnovers. Sure, he buzzes around the park. He has energy. He picks some passes, but very erratic. It looked like he was making his international debut, which he wasn't. It's his second camp, but he didn't look the part in this particular game. You got to judge a lot more data samples and see how he progresses when he goes to Red Bull Salzburg and trains with Jesse Marsh and hopefully elevates himself to that next level. Anybody beyond those guys? Well, the best player in this camp, bar none, bias or no bias, Efrain Alvarez, is somebody who I think would definitely be part of the 2022 World Cup picture and 2026 if he picks us. Whether he's going to play for the U.S. or Mexico, TBD. Let's see. Nathan Moore. It says, have you considered doing a complete game breakdown to help some of us casual fans understand the technical details of what we are seeing. So Nathan, that is something we have discussed. Yeah, but like in terms of doing a post game now and just cutting film and putting it up here, the team behind the scenes can do that, right? But I think there's patent issues. I think we'd be shut down right away. I think I've referred to this multiple times. I would love to do clips when I'm talking about a certain player and show you, but we'll be eliminated right away by our many, many fans. They'll report us to YouTube, channel done and done. So maybe, I don't know if the solution is, just doing a live play-by-play and commentary instead of, the commentary you hear on FS1. You're going to hear me talking about what's going on in the game tactically, individually, collectively. I don't know if that's something that you're referring to or not. Follow back with me and let me know. I think that's something that we're strongly considering moving forward, picking a good game and just having me and maybe a guest guy breaking it down for you guys live time. Au revoir here at Fandom Football. Based on your inside intel, do you believe Evra enjoyed this week with the group and has a real chance to switch to the US for good? So, guys, come on, that's entirely up to Efra to decide for his future. It's a very personal decision. What I will remark is what I said last time. Finally, U.S. soccer, the leadership, is taking this serious and is competing for someone's services. Instead of turning the blind eye and saying, oh, well, it's his choice. He can go. He could stay. It's up to him. If it's in the goodness of his heart. No, let's go and get the players. And we're going after all of them. Every dual national that has any type of level, we're attacking, we're going after. Now, when Evra came into camp, I would love to know. I want to ask the question, hey, on these post-game things or in all these guys, Sports Illustrated and Athletic and all that, I want to hear right now, hey, Greg, what did you and the staff think about Efrain Alvarez's level? Is he somebody that can immediately contribute to USMNT? Is he somebody that you see for 23s, for the 20s? Where does he stand? That's a better question, in my opinion, because we got to hear from the coach. Was Efra special? I can tell you from what I've heard internally is that he was doing special things, his normal self in camp, picking final balls, scoring ridiculous goals in training, and actually running hard because he's fit. He's slim again. So I would love to know that. I'm going to change it on you. I flipped the question. I know. Here we go. Chris Carnell. Okay, forget goals, assists, man of the match. Interesting. Oh, it's about Mueller. Mueller's situation. Interesting that he never made youth national team camps coming from a club that produced so many. I think he's from Chicago Sockers. Big club in Chicago. So many talented kids in youth national teams world over and just fade away. A kid not good enough for a youth national team gets a moment. Dumb luck, something else, lessons to be learned. Well, I don't know Mueller's story. Okay, I know he had a very good campaign. He went the college route, got drafted out of college, has played in MLS a couple seasons now. This last season, he's killed it. Oscar Pareja got the best out of him. He looks dynamic. He put up stats. He deserved this domestic call-up. He went to the camp. And again, I don't know what's going on in the week-long sessions, but he was chosen to start the game, and the guy produced. Okay, he produced against El Salvador, okay, for context. But he did what he had to do. He scored goals, he created, he was dynamic, he was running behind the line. He did some good things, okay? So I think it's somebody that you keep an eye on. I think it's somebody that probably deserves another call-up now in this January camp where it's extended. The training periods are extended, and hopefully there'll be a better opponent to judge and assess what Chris Mueller could bring to the table. In terms of him not being a part of the youth national teams, there's a lot of those guys that don't get the opportunity early on, that develop a little bit later, that aren't in the right situations, that are in the right eyes, and maybe he didn't seize his chances when he was playing academy football. I don't know because I wasn't there to see Chris Mueller. But the guy's done a good job for himself. Congratulations to him. Now he's got to keep riding this wave and see how far he can go with it. Let's see. Julian Riquelme. All right. For the Boca people and the RG people, you know what I'm talking about. If you're Greg, I'm not Greg, and have to pick 4 wingers for a World Cup qualifier, do you take Mueller? Let's assume Greg uses Gio or sees Gio as a winger. So, not Greg, but the simple answer is no. Okay, based on so far what I've seen, Chris Mueller is not a top 4 winger in our player pool. So no, that's my answer. Gio, Christian Pulisic. I think those are 2 lock guys. Jordan Morris ahead of Chris Mueller, I think. And then take your pick, man. Timo Weah, Julianes, the list goes on and on. Okay, so Chris Mueller did good for himself, but I don't think he's a guy that's in contention for our top team at this moment. Mick Maley, Paul Arriola. With the talent level and depth of the pool rising, how much should we be thinking about balance, tactical and personnel flexibility versus mastering a key style of play? We're going to be much better about bossing games, but not there yet versus the big boys. What's the right balance? I don't know if I'm understanding this right, Mick, but I like the direction that the program is heading, okay? They're trying to instill an identity for the first time ever, at least in terms of tactical work, day in and day out, week in and week out, month and month. They're incorporating a lot of the players and trying to teach them in these windows to see who's got it and who doesn't have it. Who's going to help us qualify the World Cup? Who's going to be a Gold Cup guy? Who's going to be an Olympic guy? Who's going to be a U20 guy? They're looking at everybody, okay? And since there's so many limited youth national team coaches right now, I don't think there are any besides Hudson at the moment, they're using the senior team to call in a bunch of guys with little to no first team experience. Is it good? Is it bad? The answers aren't there. I like what they're doing because they're expanding, they're looking, they're assessing, because at the end of the day, it is about who's going to graduate and get us to the USMNT. The U20s is great, the 17s is great, all the youth national teams are great, but the objective is to put the best team out, the best 11 out, the best 23-man roster, and go and compete with the world's best on the biggest stage in 2 years in Qatar. So, I like what's going on. I think they need to keep working on instilling that identity, finding the right pieces, finding the right chemistry, and hopefully in 2021, COVID allowing, now that things look to be improving with the vaccine and all, we're going to have a lot of opportunities to judge and assess our USMNT. Marlon Pascual. If Berhalter offered you a spot in his staff, U20, 23s or assistant, would you take it? Marlon, I think I've said this, I may have said this on air before, maybe just to my trusted confidence. I would just convert myself into Forrest Gump and run from Los Angeles to Chicago, okay? And live under the freeway in a tent. I'll do whatever it takes, okay? Absolutely. That is the dream, to be part of the USMNT staff or lead one of the youth national teams. That's what I've worked my whole life for. So 1,000,000%. I'd be Forrest Gump part 2. All right, you'd see me, beard and all. Forrest Gump. All right, there you go. Dad bod, thirst trap. Ooh, I don't even know I should have said that. When will we get a quality striker? Well, according to social media and the experts, we have 9,000 number 9s at the current moment. They're all over the place. They're growing on trees. Daryl Dike, top 9 at the international level. Giassi, Zardes, Ayo Akinola, Sebastian Soto, Josh Sargent, Joaquini. We have a million options now. Guys, all joking aside, I'm doing my homework. I want to prepare something very, very good to dissect the 9s, give you my opinion, my assessment, who is international quality or who can aspire to be international quality, because these guys are all young. They're still improving their games. And yeah, that's a good question, because when I think of a quality striker, it's a match winner, somebody that you put on and guarantees you a goal per game. Okay, there's so many other attributes that can go into making a good 9 depending on your style of play, but at the end of the day, are you going to score? Are you going to finish a playoff? That is the top job of a striker, and we're just not there yet. That's just the reality. Kieran Boyle, let me take a little coffee break, guys. Hold on one second. Ooh. What's the next step for this group? Clearly playing teams like last night, El Salvador is the reference, are not prepping us for the World Cup. You know that talent has to be challenged and nurtured. You do this with Uli and that group. If you were head coach, what do you do next? What's the next challenge needed? So I think I addressed that earlier. We need better opponents, okay? We have limitations. We play in CONCACAF. we're only going to get a limited number of competitive fixtures in a 4-year cycle. The ones that we're going to get, we're going to find outside of CONCACAF, and they're friendlies, but they truly test you and your players and the environment. There's a lot of things like CONCACAF we can say and dissect, and I can talk shit and say that they're minnows, but there are elements, okay? Weather is an element when you have to go play in certain venues. The field, shit environment is an element. The crowd, the fans, all that, there's elements that make CONCACAF difficult, okay? But in terms of actual quality of opponents, it doesn't exist. I'm gonna reference, guys, I had the privilege once to talk to Osorio, the Colombian coach that used to coach the Mexican national team in the previous cycle. And in a one-on-one conversation downstairs in the locker rooms when they were training at StubHub Center, I talked to him about Bielsa, because he's a big admirer of Bielsa like myself. And he said, listen, man, I went and I consulted Bielsa after getting smashed by Chile. Remember that famous game where Chile in Copa America dropped 7 on Mexico? Like, hey, Marcelo, like lessons I could take from this. And then Bielsa's like, hey, listen, man, the difficult thing, and he's worked in Mexico, difficult thing for you, coach, is you don't have quality opponents. You don't. You're in that region, your opponents are easy. So it's hard. You can do whatever you want, you can prep however you want, your players can prep. But the psyche is, when you're Mexico and you're lining up to play El Salvador, you don't think Guardado, you don't think Alvarez, you don't think Macia, you don't think these players look across and they're like, yeah, these guys are garbage, we're going to win today. So you don't get the maximum out of your players. It is impossible. No matter what you do, what type of brainwashing, what kind of psychology you use, it's not happening. So Bielsa told them, hey, when I worked at Chile and I built Chile from the ground up, guess what? Motivation. We play Brazil, we play Colombia, we play Uruguay, we play Argentina. We're playing real opponents on a consistent basis. If my players aren't ready, they are fucked. They will get ran over, they'll get abused, they'll get embarrassed. So listen, that part of the job, it's a lot easier for me to motivate my guys, right? So it is a challenge, guys, for Berhalter and staff. That's why it is impressive when they step on the gas and they run these teams over. It was a challenge for Tab Ramos and his staff when they started doing that with that U20 group and destroying all CONCACAF opponents, right? To motivate and have your players ready to chomp at the bit and eat whoever is across the field from you, be it Spain, be it Italy, or be it El Salvador. It has to be the same approach all the time, but it's a challenge and it's difficult. I hope I answered a little bit of your question there. Your take on Efrain Alvarez, is he in or out? And how do you see him integrating to the full team? Gonna have to wait and ask Efrain Alvarez, huh? The decision. Like LeBron James and Griezmann. I'm kidding. How do you see him? Listen, if Efrain plays with us, I think he's somebody that can be the 10 and dictate game and pick final passes and be a match winner. All the attributes that I described, and I've talked to him at length here. He's special, guys. He's different. They don't grow on trees. We don't have another Efrain Alvarez. So I think he'd be a huge help in a competitive midfield and be an actual 10. Not this trivet of hardworking, dual winning, transition moment type of guys. That's not Efra. Efra will win you matches. Efra will give Christian the ball in the final third. Christian, go score a goal. Efra will pick out passes, throw combos with Gio, go score goals. Efra will pick up his head, ping it. It's just special, guys. I could talk about it all day, but I wish everybody could see it. And hopefully his club at the Galaxy, my former club, actually put him on the field now. I don't know what the delay's been. He's been a professional homegrown player for multiple years, and he doesn't play. Well, now there's no excuse. It was before his fitness issues. He is fit. He is a machine now. He looks the part. He should play every single game. It should be Efra plus 10, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. He will eat MLS alive this season. Next question. Coach Emil. Did McKenzie do enough to earn a spot going forward? Do you think that his passing ability make him the best backup option for Brooks and Berhalter's system? So, Mark McKenzie, guys. Good kid, great player. Started off doing very, very well in that U20 team with Tab. Just you can't take this El Salvador performance and do anything with it. Okay? He looked like Franz Beckenbauer. He looked like the best of the best. He looked like Sergio Ramos playing against nobody. So it's so easy in those environments. In MLS, on his team that was a special team this year that won the Supporters' Shield, great. You watch almost every single game. he is in simple situations to just pick an entry pass and do it. And there's so many center backs that can't even do that. So credit to Mark. But Mark needs to be tested, okay? This does not dictate and give us a verdict if Mark is ready. I personally do not think he is ready for the top international level, but he can be. He needs to go get tested. He needs to make that plunge. There's rumors that Celtic want him or Bundesliga clubs want him. He needs to accept that challenge. Hopefully he gets sold like Brendan Aronson did, and then we'll see what Mark McKenzie is all about. But based on the current data samples, no chance that he is ready to be the guy. Right now it's Brooks and Miazga, or Brooks and Richards hopefully overtakes Miazga soon. Here we go. Random question, but I've always thought this. This is Wear Your Mask. Good name. Do you think different regions of the U.S. have differences in terms of player types, playing style, or soccer influences, etc.? So that has always come up as an excuse, historically, from what I've heard and read, of why we don't have an identity in the U.S. Oh, it's just such a big country, and there's so many regions, and players in Texas are different than players in Ohio, and players in Idaho, you can't compare them to the ones in Southern California, and it doesn't matter. The best players are the best players from whatever region. Are they technically sound? Are they tactically good? Are they physical? How's the mentality? The four key components. And then it's up to the scouts and the staff and everybody to evaluate and pick a team and form a team and have an identity. And I think that's what's finally happening here. Finally. I hear so many people critique and talk shit, and we had Tata Martino, we could have Lopetegui. And yes, those guys are consolidated. Those guys are better. They're better than Greg. 1,000,000%. Okay, they have a track record, body of work that supports that. It's not my opinion. It is a fact. But the Federation chose Greg. And Greg, for the first time in I don't know how long, we have an identity. We're trying, guys. So yes, they're against minnows. Yes, they're against inferior opponents. Yes, we have an incredible player pool now that plays their trade at the highest level. Let's give it time. Okay, I don't have the answer to your question. I think it's all bullshit and an excuse. Okay. Here we go. Is there anyone that played, this is TB, anybody who played in Miami last night that could possibly break the starting 11 outside of Leggett? I didn't see anyone. That's your comment. So you're asking me, and then you say you didn't see anybody. Leggett was the man of the match. I think I've already said that. Leggett is not the guy that can integrate and be a starting 11. I've already said that. Out of the guys that played last night, I was hoping to see Jackson Ewell show me something, but he was playing nobody, so I didn't see it, guys. Maybe Aronson, but again, Aronson as the 10 cannot tie a guy like Efrain Alvarez's shoes. He just can't do it, guys. He can't. He's more dynamic. He could run with the ball. He could transport the ball. He could press a little bit and buzz around, but I just don't see that either in terms of highest level quality. So you didn't see anyone. I didn't see anyone. I went with the intent to see somebody. So I guess we're going to have to wait till January to assess that one. Here we go. James Stitt. Knowing now the quality of Salvador's fielding and using Berhalter's selected squad, what is your starting 11 and why? What? Knowing now the quality of Salvador fielded, okay, and using Berhalter's... What is your starting... So who would I have picked to my starting 11 if I would have known El Salvador's shit? So I already said before that El Salvador was going to be mediocre. And did I ever give my 11? Maybe I didn't give my 11. My 11 would have been pretty similar. Ochoa, who got injured and wasn't there. So no Ochoa. The keeper didn't matter. Bill Hamid, great. Give him a shot. Vines, Julian, yeah, those are the right guys. At center back, it didn't matter to me because Walker Zimmerman, I don't think is a solution. Mark needed that opportunity. Aaron Long is not the solution. So I guess pick two out of those three is fine. Jackson in the middle, absolutely. Brendan and Sebi, fine, no problem. Obviously, if Efra was cleared, Efra would have played. And then up top, it was Mueller, Paul Arriola's return, and then Ayo Akinola. So 1,000,000% would have put Soto Akinola. I just know, guys, I know that Ayo is not the solution. Soto is a goal-scoring machine. He gets on the end of everything. He runs in behind. Spectacular. He's not the most technical. I would have played Soto 1,000%. Georgi Mihailovic isn't a winger. You know, he's kind of like a guy that'll tuck in, right? With our current system, 10 playing wide. I don't know if Georgie's a solution at the international level. You know, I want to see Georgie dominate MLS, where he's had inconsistencies in terms of his playing and production. So I guess the lineup was fine. Just Soto for Ayo. Sorry for rambling. That's the answer. Andres, did you talk to Efra after the match? Like in person? Andres, there's COVID protocols, man. What's wrong with you? This is in normal times. In normal times, absolutely. I'm sure I would have been able to hang out, take Efra down to a nice little restaurant, Prime 112 in Miami, and enjoy a nice steak dinner. But unfortunately, these times are different. So no live time with Efra after the match in person. Is there a role for Ewell, says MFT. I went there to see Ewell. I want a spotlight. I like Ewell. I think he's got technique. I think he's a smart player. I think he's grown in terms of his toughness under Matias Almeida. I'm always talking about not having multiple destroyers on the field, that we need to move on from that to be able to truly boss it at the international level. So I'm kind of hoping Jackson Ewell is that 6 for us, because I like Tyler Adams. I said Tyler Adams the guy. But now with Weston killing and all that, well, if we insist on Weston being the 8, then we got to find somebody that can get our players the ball, okay? Kind of like Artur does at Juve. Everybody's like, oh, Weston at Juve at the 8. Great. But he doesn't have a destroyer behind him. He had Artur come get the ball off the guys, and Artur gets the ball to the match winners, gets it wide, gets it. Guys, we need to get away from having multiple destroyers. So I hope that Jackson Ewell could be that guy. I guess we'll have to monitor him further in the January camp. Would you consider starting Vines at left back? Oh, this is Super Wentz. Would you consider starting Vines at left back over Robinson moving forward? Yes. Ideally, Kobe develops ASAP, although I hear he's training as a 6 at Wolfsburg. So, yeah, guys, Kobe hopefully is a solution. He needs time. Vines, too green. He needs time. Robinson, time is up. Oh, he's the man of the match against Liverpool. Did you see him, Brian? We need a left back, guys, all right? I agree with all of you. Jim Bob Cougar. Where do you think Araujo fits into the plans? I agree that it is tough to take anything away from yesterday, but if I had to highlight one player, it would be Julian. I think he showed well, minus that one really poor giveaway at the end. The right back pool is starting to look very good. So Julian Araujo, somebody that, again, I'll repeat, near and dear to me. I know him very well since he was very, very young and played his trade north of here in Santa Barbara. Brought him to the Galaxy, and he's killed it ever since. All right, so great for him to get his debut. I know he desperately wanted to get on the field in January, wasn't given the opportunity. Yesterday or last week, he was given the opportunity, and he was fine. He was never in danger. His athleticism enabled him to track back and win duels effortlessly. The guy he was marking, the ball would bounce off his freaking shins, man. So Julian had no issues. I joked with Julian, texted him after, hey, everyone's giving you credit. Oh, what a cross. What? Listen, that's not in Julian's locker. Julian whipped in a good ball. He said, okay, here, I'm going to whip in this ball. He didn't pick out Chris Mueller, and I joked with him about it, and he laughed. Listen, he's got a long way to go. He has a lot of work to do in terms of being a top right back at the international level. He's growing his game. He's playing his craft. He's getting important minutes now. Hopefully, he's the guy moving forward this year in MLS in his club situation. But he's competing with Serge. It's the reality. He's a better defender than Serge, but going forward, it's not close. Serge lacks a final ball. I've been saying Serge's crossing is amateur hour as well, okay, compared to top right back prospects. So Julian's got to improve his offensive game. His defensive game is tremendous. He needs time, and he needs to keep working his ass off. That got him to this point in his career. So I'm excited. I'm happy for Julian, but there's a long way to go. Next one is Eli GC. Is the 4-3-3 the best formation for the U.S. going forward? Should Greg consider using some sort of 3-4-2-1 similar to the formation Gio normally plays at Dortmund? So Eli, formations are just starting points, okay? 3-5-2, 4-3-3, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, 3-4-3. Whatever it is, okay? They're starting points. The important stuff is the identity. Hold on, doorbell, all right? Doorbell. Anywho, the important part, guys, is forming that identity that's been discussed, that I've discussed at length. You know, what do we do when we have the ball? How are we trying to break our opponent down? What do we do when we lose the ball? What do we do in transition moments? How do we want to set traps? our set pieces, our set piece offense, our defense. That's the most important thing for me. All right. So formation doesn't matter. 4-3-3 is the right formation with one holding, two attacking is what I would do. Okay. But it all depends on the players available at the time. Should we have tactical flexibility? Absolutely. But you need to work on those things when you have time. The big excuse at the international game is you have limited time. Players fly in, you have a day of recovery, then one day of training, then it's match day. Then recovery, then training, then it's match day, and then they're back with their clubs. So Gold Cups or Euro Cups or Copa Americas, these are times when coaches actually have the players for a longer period of time. All right. So you have to evaluate what's more important. You have to work with the clubs, because given that context, as a national team boss, I would love to have my best group for a month. Okay, the only way they could have that is maybe at the Gold Cup. But maybe the clubs are going to say, no, this is not an official event. Hell no, I'm not leaving Pulisic there for a month. You're crazy. So we're kind of against the wall when it comes to these things. Ultimately, it's for the staff to decide what is best moving forward, but the identity is key. Guys, and this is the last one before I get to my chicken Caesar salad. Loco says, what's the difference between playing 4-3-3 and other formations, 3-5-2, 4-2-3-1? I see Juventus always playing a 3-5-2. Are they still playing possession football? So I pretty much just answered this, right? Starting spots, just starting spots. Your identity and what you're trying to accomplish is independent of what your formation is. Next one is, does Mueller match as your prototypical winger? So Mueller showed some good qualities. Like I said, he seized his opportunities. He buried his couple chances. He fabricated another couple chances. He ran hard. He pressed hard defensively. He ran behind the line, opening things up. So Mueller did good in this specific game against this specific opponent. Give me more time, okay? If I'm going to tell you, if you put me on the spot and say, hey, Mueller international, I don't think so. I think he's just going to have a good pro career. I think he's done very good for himself, but time will tell, right? Looking forward to your evaluation of the 9 as well. The 9 is coming, guys, since we have, I don't know what I said last time, 9,422 9s. The evaluation is coming. I'm doing my homework. That'll be the next episode. Stay tuned. Be ready for it. And guys, again, I wish I could just press play and give you guys clips of what I'm talking about. But unfortunately, that's not available until I'm working for beIN Sports or Fox Sports or ESPN with my boy Taylor Twellman. That's not happening yet, all right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. Any closing thoughts? No, guys. Hey, 2020 out the window. Let's move on. Let's get to 2021. Let's continue to hope for our guys to play at the highest levels, get the opportunities. And then it's always important to understand when it's national team time, it's a different chip. You change your chip, you put on the kit, and you act responsible. You take everything that you've done good at your club and you take it to a whole higher level. And that's what we're all doing here. We're here to critique and to help advance our national team and applaud when things are good, because guys, that's what it is. The credit, whatever you do at your club, you do at your club. Yes, if it's incredible form, you better duplicate it at your country. If you're shit in your club, but you come and you put the kid on and you're tremendous, then guess what? We're all going to applaud you nonetheless. The coaches got to decide who the right pieces are, and we're going to be there, spotlight out, keeping this thing moving forward. We have the January camp, I hope, coming soon. And we'll get to it again, guys, evaluating our 9-player pool in the coming days.